Yes, Aillis. Hello, I'm your host, Bella, and I'm with
Ivy.
and today's episode 12, if I'm correct. I think
Yes,
that it's 12.
I think it is.
But today we thought that we would kind of just take it a little bit easy. It's been kind of rough for me and Ivy the past 2 weeks, I would say. Just because there's just been a lot going on. Me personally, it's just been a lot for my mental health. It's been a lot with my school, a lot with just daily life, daily stuff. I guess we thought that this episode would be nice if we just took a step back and just talked about relieving our stress or just not letting it manage us and finding ways to cope with our anxiety and stress levels and whatnot. I'm sure that everyone has experienced it at least once in their life, and if you haven't, then you are blessed. But yeah, I guess I just wanted to open up maybe first how we feel about anxiety and how we feel about, I don't know, just stress in everyday lives before we get into with how to cope with it.
Oh, you're asking me to open up. Okay. Let's see. For me, coping with...
That was a really long pause.
Oh, I wasn't sure if it was the delay or if you were waiting for me to talk. Okay, also for everybody who's listening, okay, we're kind of on this weird thing where my Wi-Fi and Bella's Wi-Fi and the weather, because right now it's we're supposed to have 1 to 2 feet of snow, so it's just a janky connection today, and thank you for bearing with that. Anyways, for how I cope with stress and anxiety, I do breathing exercises, and sometimes for me it's me having to legitimately what's the word, deplug or unplug from the rest of the world. So I'll turn off my phone, turn off all my electronics, and then just kind of sit in the silence and then feel my surroundings, whether that's hearing my surroundings, or feeling the way the carpet feels against my toes, or the way the seat feels against my back. For me, I think when I'm able to really meditate and be in the present, then I'm able to cope with my stresses and my worries and my anxieties at that moment. Because literally this past week, I was having a panic attack, and I was like, "Hey Bella, we're gonna have to do a pause on an episode upload." But yeah, how do you cope personally with it, Bella?
I would say that for me, anxiety, I don't think I handle anxiety very well. A lot of the times I just try to run away from my problems. And I guess, I don't know, I don't think I handle it very well. But I have people like you and Hannah who definitely help me calm down when I have anxiety. Hannah's been a really great help whenever I tell her I have an anxiety. For example, breathing exercises. She's really helped me with that. And I've actually taken some time to learn about aromatherapy and kind of get into that. I have aromatherapy lotion and room spray. It's just to help, especially when I'm really stressed or just need some sense of comfort. That's kind of what helps me. And then another thing I would say is yes, I like to unplug, how Ivy said. I like to unplug too, from social media and everything. So every once in a while I'll take a really deep plug from social media, and I'll be off for a couple months, and then when I feel I'm ready, then I'll come back. But yeah, I try to get off of social media just because I feel like I know that some people don't take social media that seriously, which is a good thing. I'm not saying it as a bad thing.
Yeah.
So I know some people don't take social media really seriously. And so that's why they don't really stress about kind of like social media stuff. But I am an overthinker. I overthink every little thing, and I have a hard time when it comes to other people's opinions. The thing is, I don't think I was initially like this. It was something that kind of grew, like a problem that grew as I grew up. It's just like caring about other people's opinion became a problem. I wasn't always like that. When I was younger, I was like, I don't give two. But then as I grew up, it just became more of it just became a part of my anxiety, just like caring about what other people think too much. So that kind of plays in like my anxiety with social media sometimes. And that's why sometimes you need a really big like detox. But yeah, I know some people don't take it seriously, and I envy those people because then they don't really ever have to worry about it. But I don't know. I guess I'm just
I feel like everybody in some ways
um,
has that validation factor. They just don't like admit it, or they don't think about it. But like it happens, I'm pretty sure. Like for me, it wasn't like, I feel like back then it was like a very, very big thing for me, quote unquote. Back then, the internet's still pretty new, social media. But like definitely for me, like back a little while back, numbers kind of meant everything. And now I kind of don't care, and I just do as I do. And I think what matters the most at this point for me, as like someone who does, I guess, creative things and puts it out there online, it's not really on views that I care about. It's if I'm having fun doing it. But yeah, just as long as it doesn't become something draining. Because for me, I realized when I was focused on numbers, I kept draining myself trying to do something like, okay, what can I do to top that, you know? But because I was like burning out on something that was supposed to be my creative outlet from the real world burnout. But yeah.
And I kind of feel like for me, it's like not really numbers that has gotten my anxiety really high on social media. For me, it's more like comparing myself a lot to others, or like a big part of anxiety is constantly thinking about what other people think about you, and it's like very little detailed things that other people probably don't even notice, but you think that they notice. And that is like, for me, that's part of my anxiety. Like it's like some people might not even notice like something that, I don't know, like they might not be thinking what I think that they're thinking, but it causes me anxiety just maybe overthinking about it too much. Oh my gosh, the amount of times that I use overthinking or thinking in that sentence was a lot. But yeah, I guess it's just like comparing a lot of the time too, because like I guess social media can make it look like someone has such a fantastic or wonderful life, and then you're like, why can't I be like that? Or why can't my life be fantastic? But really, like social media, like everyone's just a picture does not, you know, you can post a picture smiling, being happy somewhere, and you can actually be miserable.
Yeah.
So like, it's not always true. I don't know, but I think a really big part for me is just comparing and then thinking about what other people think about me. So, all of that. But I guess we can kind of get into like how I did a little research on how we should cope with anxiety. And I feel like the majority of people kind of know the basics. I feel like a lot of the stuff that I researched, I had heard from friends and things that I learned to do myself. But if you don't know ways to cope with your anxiety, I guess like this might be a good start or good way to like think about how to cope with your anxiety. So basically, when you have anxiety, sometimes like a lot of the times it is focused around the situation that you're in, or like event that you're at, like for example, like let's say you have to give a speech for a wedding, you know, like just that situation that you're in, a lot of the times it's like gonna be short-lived, and then it's gonna go away afterwards, after you've done it or after the event is over. Those are anxiety situations that most people experience. But then there's also some anxiety habits or experiences that I guess it's like a longer period of time, and it's not, sometimes it just comes out of the blue, and that kind of anxiety level is a lot more severe, I would say. And I think for me personally, if we're speaking honestly, I think that's progressed over time. I kind of just have random anxiety attacks, and it doesn't have to be a specific situation or event or short-lived I don't know, it doesn't, sometimes it doesn't even, I don't even have to be stressing about anything. And then I will find ways to stress about something. And randomly I'll have like an anxiety attack. So, the first thing that I had researched was how to reroute your thought pattern. I don't know if the viewers really know this, but I have a very sarcastic, pessimistic mindset. And I think Ivy kind of knows this, where like she will try to compliment on me and then I just immediately shoot it down. I just have like a very sarcastic, like pessimistic mindset, and it's a really bad thing when it comes with anxiety, because your negative thoughts can like distort the actual situation and like the way that, and it can like overtake your thoughts sometimes, and it's not a good thing. So like what we should do is try to reroute our thoughts, especially our negative thoughts, especially since I think that typically and naturally your negative thought comes first and then your positive thought comes after. Just because, like, I don't know, I just feel like majority of people think of the worst possible situation before they can, like, think, like, okay, that might not actually happen. I mean, I guess it could be the other way around, but, like, your negative thoughts usually come first, and ways to, like, try to see if you have a negative thought, it's important to see if that negative thought is true, and if it's true, or if it's, because if it is true, then you need to think of ways on how you can control that negative thought, if that makes sense. Because I think another thing that helps people who have anxiety is like taking control, because a lot of people have anxiety when you don't have control. But yeah, how do you feel your, like, I guess, like, thought process or thought pattern is? Mine is very sarcastic and pessimistic, obviously.
I think mine depends on the situation. If it's something that I could be logical about, I'll try to be logical about it. But if it comes to like complimenting and stuff like that, then I'm kind of along the same route, or it's like, yeah, no, I mean, like, yeah, seems fake, but okay, you know, like, I'm definitely along that route. And it's definitely something that I'm working on managing too, because my friend actually called me out on it, because she was, what were we talking about? We're talking about something, and then she's like, Ivy, you're hot. And I'm like, no, that sounds fake, but okay, you know? And then she's like, you always do that, right? And I was like, do what? And she's like, every time like me or somebody else tries to compliment you, you always shoot it down, or like you always like find a way to self-deprecate yourself. But why do you do that? Is it like something that you're proud of, like, you know? Is it something that you should be proud of, you know? And then like I kind of like sat and I thought about it.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, she's my mom friend, and she totally like helped me like think about, before you don't want to make this into a habit, is basically what the end of the conversation that we had was. And she was saying that you don't want it to be a habit, because then in your head mentally, you're going to be going through mental gymnastics, just trying to come out on top, being like, I'm the ugly one, you know? But like, there's no point in doing that. It's like, it goes back to like that thing that you learn in preschool, the think poster. T, is it true? H, is it helpful? You know, like, are these things you're saying? Are you thinking about it before you say it? No, you're making it a habit, you know? And so she was telling me about like how I should work on having to reroute the way I think of myself, and why is it that I see myself that way? Am I letting my past traumas or past experiences affect the way I think about myself currently, you know? So, I mean, I've been working on trying to not immediately shoot things down. Try is the key word here. But yeah.
Me too. I think, yeah, a lot of the times it's just like I don't know, it's just defense mechanism. I don't know,
definitely a
not
defense
really
mechanism.
It's just like
for me,
force
it
of
is.
habit.
It's yeah.
Defense mechanism, force of habit, I don't know, whatever you want to call it. It's just not healthy, especially when it comes to anxiety. So like Ivy was saying, bottom line, you don't want it to become you don't want it to become a habit, and you don't want it to become a pattern, just because then you're gonna lose your mind. As nicely as I can put it, you're probably gonna lose your mind. But I guess the next thing that we have with like trying to cope with the anxiety, so like I guess I'll kind of like list them off. Like the first thing is to question your thought pattern. So that's the first thing that we talked about. And the second thing, I guess, would be more of practicing on your focusing and your like deep breathing. Ivy had mentioned that she did this, and I also had mentioned that I did this. It was actually something that Hannah recommended for me because I was having an anxiety packed. Sorry.
Also, if you guys have never had an anxiety attack, it is terrifying. You feel like your heart is leaping. You feel like the walls are coming in on you, and everything just feels like super hyper focused, and like it's super. I don't know how to explain it to someone who's never gone through it. So like I'm not happy you've gone through it, but I'm happy you know what I mean because you've gone through that. You know.
Yeah.
Not that I'm happy you have anxiety attacks.
Yeah. I get it. No, I feel the same. And it's also, it is a really hard thing to explain. Sometimes I get kind of upset because some people don't take anxiety attacks. Like, they kind of downplay it.
Yeah.
And it can be, I don't know. I just feel like if it's, I've had a hard time. Like, when someone's having an anxiety attack, sometimes it's hard to tell. Actually, no, I take that back. When someone's having a real anxiety attack, it's not hard to tell if they're faking or not.
Yeah, and I feel like a lot of the times, like, this is how I felt this way, because that's why I posted what I posted like a few weeks ago or whatever on Instagram. But I feel like anxiety attacks, TV makes it seem like you're breathing hard, you're falling all over the place, so like you're like in hysterics. Which, I mean, this can be true for some people, but a lot of the times, having an attack, you're just paused in the moment, you're frozen. Everything just kind of like stops around you, but mentally in your head you just feel like everything's crashing on you. But it's very hard to explain. It's like, I think, I don't want to say, you kind of have to go through it to know what I mean, but like it's not always like the way it is on TV, you know. It's a lot of the time for me personally, I'm not in hysterics or like crying or like sobbing or having aggressive like breathing issues, but like for me, I just kind of like freeze up, and I feel like all my all the cation gates in my muscles have opened, and my muscles are having a reflex spasm at that moment, you know. So for me, that's what it's like. It's like my body just goes into rigor mortis immediately. But
for me, it's kind of like, it's not like the TV shows, like, you know, like you're saying, it's not like some, like, we're not trying to be extra, but like, for me, it's more like I lose focus. I lose focus, and I feel suffocated. And I understand that like a symptom of anxiety is like shortness of breath, and you kind of like start to have a panic attack. I don't really have like that shortness of breath and I'm like gasping for air, but I do start to feel suffocated, and going out for fresh air actually is helpful when I have an anxiety attack. Going out for fresh air is probably one of the more like most natural thing you could probably ever do. It's just take a deep breath of fresh air.
Oxygen's good for your brain in that situation, you know? It's like the one thing that you need, and you just kind of forget to do it at that moment because you're just hyper focused on whatever it is that's causing you stress, you know? So
Yeah,
breathe.
For real. Yeah, breathe. But yeah, so we were talking about focus and deep breathing. One of the techniques that I looked up was trying to breathe in for 4 minutes and then breathe out for
seconds.
4 counts for 5 minutes total. That's one way because it kind of slows your heart rate and helps you calm down. But there is also this 4-7-8 technique that helps with your anxiety. I personally know about the 4-8. I feel like most people do, but like the 4-7-8 technique is basically you breathe in for 4 counts, you hold it in for 7, and then you breathe out for 8, and then you just kind of keep doing that until you feel okay again. Or so that's like the 4-7-8 technique. But yeah, that's like a really super important thing when it comes to coping with anxiety is I guess like when you're like too much is going on, like your body's smart but also stupid at the same time. So like when you're stressing out, when you're stressing out and your body's like, your body will sometimes during anxiety, like your body will forget to do what it needs to, which is like breathe or like drink water or like, you know, just like normal things. Like I said, your body's stupid but smart. So it's all about, when you learn about biology, everything's about balance. Like it's either too much or too little. And you gotta try to keep it in the middle. Exactly. Anyways, so the next thing so let's go through this. Okay, so it's like question your thought pattern, and then practice focusing and deep breathing. And then the next one is aromatherapy. I know some people can be skeptical about this, which I completely like. If you are skeptical about it, then obviously you don't have to do it, but this is an option on whether you want to like maybe try like oil form or like candles or like scents or like I don't know, like me, I use room spray. I also have used a candle before. I just don't have a candle right now, but I have used candles before. I know a lot of people, like aromatherapy specifically is like scents that heighten a certain hormone or heighten a certain relaxer in your body. That's basically what aromatherapy is. And scents like lavender and I don't know how to say that. Can you say that? Yeah, I didn't know how to say that. But and then sandalwood, those are typically really soothing. I will be honest, lavender gives me the biggest headache.
I love lavender.
So my mom loves lavender too, and growing up it just literally always gave me a headache. I don't know what it is about lavender, just definitely not the scent for me. But like I said, that's why you kind of just find, I guess in a way aromatherapy, like it involves a little bit more research because you kind of have to find what scent kind of just works and goes for you.
Austin vibes with me. Tiger Balm, yo.
Okay, yeah, I don't know why he likes Tiger Balm so much, but my brother Austin, he will literally like just sniff up Tiger Balm. He'll put Tiger Balm underneath his nose, and you'll just like sniff it all day, like. Weirdo.
I relate.
Anyways, I cannot. Yeah, definitely. But basically, so it's aromatherapy is just to activate like certain receptors in your brain that can help ease your anxiety. But yeah, I know people are skeptical about it, so you don't actually have to do it if you don't want to. It's just an option. So the next thing really is to go for walks or do 15 minutes of yoga. I find that girls typically do more yoga than guys do, but it's like if guys want to do it too, like you can totally do yoga. Although I'll be honest, I don't think I've ever done yoga. I don't think I've ever done yoga.
It's okay.
Maybe stretching, but yeah, I don't think I've ever done yoga. I do go on walks or sometimes just out for some nice fresh air, like we were talking about earlier. It's just getting some natural oxygen. Yeah, that's the best way to kind of stop your anxiety thoughts. Just kind of like going on a walk, maybe just like focusing on something simple, like walking, just trying to focus on walking, on something simple. So then it kind of just takes your mind off of whatever your anxious thoughts are. But yeah, that's one of them. And then the last thing that I have from the research that I went through was, kind of just writing down your thoughts. A lot of the time, I think as an overthinker, as an overthinker professional, just kidding. I have a lot of thoughts going on in my head constantly throughout the day, and sometimes it's not even things that I should be focused on, or things that it's not even a problem right now, or it might never be a problem, but it like will run through my head in the of things that could, like, I worry about the future a lot of the times. And then a lot of those anxiety just runs through my head a lot, and then I just find it coming back to me all the time. But what I find was helpful is sometimes writing it down, so when you have that same thought again, it's kind of like, I guess in a way it's kind of like checking off that you've already thought about it. So like writing it down, it kind of gets it out of your head, and sometimes it makes it less daunting, because in a way it's like, that's why people kind of write to-do lists, because you can have it in your head, but then if you don't really if you don't actually like check off that you got it done, sometimes that thought will keep coming back to you, and you'll be like, did I do that today?
Yeah.
Did I do, and so like, I think typically that's why people write to-do lists, because then when they write it down and then physically cross it off, then they know they've done what they needed to do. And it's kind of like, I don't know, I guess it's kind of like with your anxiety thoughts too. It's like when you've had too much anxiety thoughts, and when you've written it down, then it kind of makes it less daunting, I guess. But yeah, that's like the last thing I would recommend about how to cope with your anxiety. And if anyone else, like if you have other things, like if you're more knowledgeable about anxiety and you have other ways that you guys cope with it, then I think it would be really interesting if you guys shared if there's like a different way to cope with it, just because like I would love to have more, because I can't, because yeah, it's just rough. Anyways, but Ivy, you also said you had another way of.
So if you guys are like me, where you guys are like not the best of writers, and you can't really you can't write your thoughts out, and you're more of a verbalizer like me. If you guys don't know me, I am talkative. My nickname is Slushy because I talk 24/7, like 7-Eleven. But so for me, I'm someone where I need to like vocalize my thoughts in order to like think about them. And so this is where, for me, as a Christian too, prayer comes in. I feel like, although God does know exactly everything that I'm going through, I feel like it's better when I'm able to talk to him about it. Sure, I may not even be asking him for anything in particular. Not that in prayer you always have to be asking for someone or something, But like for me, I just need to be able to let somebody know what's going on, and just to be able to talk to someone. And for me, oftentimes that is God. And along with this, for people who are more like verbally, who handle things verbally instead of like through writing, this is where a great support system comes into. So like having a good friend, having a good family, or like family members or family or just friends, like people in particular that you can always go to, like a mentor. Like for me, definitely my support system, I have Bella, I have Christine and Katie. Like this is my main like support system. We do have a college meme like group where we just kind of send like dank college memes between me, Bella, and Michael. But like It's still a support
Yeah.
system, you know what I mean? And for me, I'm someone where I
Yeah.
definitely need to verbalize it. So I'll always like either like call Bella up, or I'll call up like Katie or something like that. Or like sometimes I'll just tell Maggie, you know, along with stuff like this. If you're not much of a writing based person, because I'm not very much of a writing based person. Sometimes I am, but I think I go in a very like different route with it too. Because sometimes for me, I'll be creative, or like I'll draw something or I'll paint something in that moment. You know, like it sounds really weird, but in that moment of stress, I just want to do something de-stressing. So I'm immediately just going to like start painting out of nowhere, or like I'll just start like making clay models or something, you know? And like for me, I find this a very de-stressing way, because in that moment, I don't have to hyper focus on that. I can just know that if you guys, there's a gaming term for it. It's play the objective, you know? As long as you're able to play that objective, for me, I'm able to make that quick cleanse in my brain. Or like I also along with like creativity and stuff like that, or like Bella had said earlier with doing yoga or going for a walk, for me, when I'm stressed, a lot of times I do like go on runs, or I will do like a good 20-minute core exercise or leg exercise, just because in that moment I need to blow off steam. I'm not gonna like fight anybody. And I just feel like for me, I can't do what I used to in high school, where I could just listen to music and like let all my teen angst drain out of me. I feel like that's something I just can't do where I am currently, and I have to like do something physical. I'm a very kinesthetic kind of person where I need to move around and do something constantly. So, I mean, that's how I also handle like my stresses and my anxieties. But yeah.
Yeah. I feel like, okay, I don't like exercising, so I probably would not do a core exercise. But I would go out for a walk, which is probably the most simple thing. And I think the reason why though is, you brought up like painting or something. I'm not artistic. Okay, so don't hate me, but I have a coloring
I have one
book.
too. No, okay, those coloring books are so helpful, dudes. Like the adult coloring books are amazing.
Yeah. And I have a coloring book, and I know it's kind of like, it might sound childish or
It's
you know,
not.
like
A lot of
whatever,
people
but
use
like
it, girl.
yeah, but the thing is though, like, I use it because, just like I said earlier about like just focusing on something simple, like simple as in like just focusing on walking or focusing on like coloring, like just focusing on something simple to have you to stop, having you to stop, like, I cannot English today,
It's
sorry.
okay.
But focusing on something like simple to like help you not think about like anxious thoughts so much, or like to not, you know, like build your anxiety up more. It helps, you know, bring your anxiety down when you just focus on normal things. And I feel like a lot of the times, like, I don't know, all of these things are so simple, right? Like literally the list is to question your thought process, to practice focusing and deep breathing, maybe use aromatherapy if you want to, go for a walk, or do yoga, or like I've said, a run, or like core exercise. I guess that's another reason why people like to exercise, because sometimes that's like their
way to blow off steam.
de-stress kind of thing. And then the last thing is like to write down your thoughts. Like literally those things are so, and like prayer and meditation, those things aren't hard ways to like cope with your anxiety, but it's also like anxiety is, like I said, anxiety sometimes it just creeps up for no reason. Like, it doesn't really need a situation or a reason to creep up or to cause you stress, which kind of makes sense on why these very natural and normal things can help you through anxiety, just because like that's kind of how anxiety is. It's just
I think I don't know if you guys follow like D'Angelo Wallace. I do, because I'm all about that. But he had tweeted like a week or two ago, and I I'm just gonna read his tweet. I thought it was like really good the way he described it. Mental health ain't even mental health, it's just health. Good mental health is necessary to function, and bad mental health can kill you at various speeds. I wish it was prioritized that way when it comes to getting people help. And like, I definitely agree with that, you know. And I think if like what Bella said, these things, they're simple things, but the thing is, we don't really prioritize it because it's not something we are constantly seeing being advocated. You know what I mean? So yeah, I think although these things are simple, they are very hard, especially with the way we're trying to balance it and how it's becoming more apparent on how important mental health is. Because I feel like back then it's like, oh, you have mental health problem. Well, that sucks for you, you know. Versus like nowadays, it's like, no, it's not just it sucks for you. It's something that we have to work on all together as a society, you know. So.
Mm-hmm. And I also think that like back then when people had mental health and like they. Some people did not take mental health seriously. Like that's what I said like earlier, that like I feel like some people don't take when you have an anxiety attack seriously, just because like maybe it might be like on TV, it might be like what's the word that
hysterics.
I want to use? Like it might like it's like over dramatic, and like everyone's assuming that if you have an anxiety attack it's supposed to look like that on TV, right? And so like everyone, I feel like back then, like when people would have anxiety attacks, I don't know, if you weren't hysterically, you know, gasping for air, like it wasn't an anxiety attack for them, you know. And at the same time, like that, when people didn't even know mental health was a thing, and you were just like going through all these thoughts without having any answers, or having all these problems without having any answers, like people just thought you were crazy, you know. Like when you bring up mental health back then, they just automatically assume that you need to be in an asylum. You know, when it's like you like another scary word that a lot of people like find scary, including myself, is like seeing a therapist. People think that if you go see a therapist, it's because you're crazy, or you have, you know, like it's immediately associated with like
there's like a quote unquote bad connotation with it because of like the way it's viewed previously.
But like everyone goes through it, and the people who go see therapists good for them, because those are the people who are getting help, and everyone else is just too stubborn to go get help, basically. But yeah, that's basically what it is. Including myself, I'm very stubborn. So like talking about like just like going to like therapists and getting help, and I guess if you aren't comfortable with that, because I know some people aren't, I feel like it's still really important that you reach out for help, whether that's like your family or your friends, or just because if I were to go through all of my anxiety attacks and other mental issues that I have gone through by myself without any of my family or friends to support me,
train wreck.
Like would I have been able to actually get through that? Probably not, if I'm being honest. So just like be gentle with yourself, because I feel like everyone else is already so hard on you. Like the world is just so hard on you. Everyone's opinions is already so hard on you. You don't need to be hard on yourself. Really, you don't. But yeah, I guess that's just the last thing I really want to say. And this episode is obviously, if you're at the very end of this episode, but obviously if you've listened to all of this, this episode's more of just a self-care kind of episode. And I actually like having these every once in a while, because like last week we had a like more deep, harder heavy topic, and it's nice to just, and I know that it did take a while for us to get to this podcast though, because we were struggling.
It's okay.
We were struggling. Yeah, the last 2 weeks we were struggling. She had a test. I had a test this
midterm
week.
season, that's why.
Yeah, I have a test this week coming next
Yeah.
Monday. Wish me luck. I don't know. Oh, fingers
Yeah.
crossed that it goes well. But whatever happens, happens. I think that's another thing I try to do is that I only do my best, and if it doesn't work out, then I have to be okay with it because that's all you can really do. Like, if it doesn't work out, then okay. But yeah, I guess it's just like kind of how I am, and I mean, it kind of reminds me of Austin. Austin's kind of different. Austin will be like, if I didn't do good the first time, whatever, like, I need to find ways to improve. Me, I'm like, if it didn't work, then it didn't work. That's pretty much how I am, but I guess, like, the last thing that we have for this podcast, I feel like if you have been watching for a while or if you're new to watching, the last thing that we do on our podcast is basically just recommend you songs. And I made it kind of simple this week, so I just wanted me and Ivy to find songs that make us happy. So Ivy, you want to start first?
So songs that make me happy. I have quite a bit of songs that make me happy. So one of the first.
These
are just a few of what I have. Like, I probably, if I actually took time to make a happy playlist, like, it would be super long.
Mine would be long. Yeah, mine would be long too.
So, first up on this is Smile by Johnny Stimson. The song, it just basically tells you to smile when you're having a hard time. If you just smile. It's, like, super cute, and, like, it just kind of brightens up the mood. And if you guys watch I think it's like the animation video with it. Like, dog always smiles every time he says smiles, and it's like super cute. So I love that. And then another song I'm recommending is another song by Johnny Stimson, and it's called Butterfly. And it's about basically a reflection on 2020 and how crazy of a year that was for us, and how this year he hopes that we could be like butterflies, where we'll be able to change and make something new out of it, you know? So I really love that song too. And then I'm also going to be recommending Celebrity by IU. Oh, she's my queen. But like this song is super, like, I love this song so much. It's basically talking about living your best life unapologetically and being the left-hand painted star, which is basically, there's not a lot of people who are left-handed, and being a left-hand painted star is being someone different, being someone because you're being you. When you're being you, you are being someone different, you know? And so I really love that. And you're your own celebrity. You're your own main character. And so definitely recommending Celebrity by IU. And then I'm also recommending Dope by BTS. This song always gets me in the mood. I don't know why. I think it just, when it starts out, 어서 방탄은 처음이지. I'm immediately like in, like, I like get in my giddy mode. And I also think about this fangirl version me and Bella used to watch where like the pitches were higher. So definitely, I love Dope by BTS. And then I'm also recommending Attack on Bangtan by BTS. This is my biggest flex. I gotta say this live. But I do love this song too. It's a super, like, upbeat song, and like the vocals and everything, and like the choreography, it just gets me in the mood for it. And then I'm also adding Change Up by 17. When Spotify had removed it for a week before they had the whole, before Kako M basically came back crawling to Spotify, like, I was a mess without Change Up. Change Up is my one, like, ride or die song. Change Up till I die. If I had to get a tattoo of any 17 song, it would be related to Change Up. And then I'm going to say, I'm also going to recommend Manse by 17. It's a very cheerful song, and it's kind of like cheering you on to go for your crush or like go for whatever it is that you're aspiring for. I'm also adding Oh Yes I Am by Luna. It's funny because I'm not only adding this because it's like a good song and stuff like that, but it's because there's so many memes that came out of this. So every time I hear this, I laugh in my head because I think about the memes that people have made to the song. I'm also adding Vibe by One Team, which is a super jammy, like, hip hop kind of song. It has a lot of shike kind of elements to it, which I'm also recommending a song by Shike. It's called Iffy. Iffy by Shike is a bop. It is a bop and a half. So recommending that too. I'm also recommending Click Me by Zion T featuring Toki. This was really old K-R&B song. I guess quote unquote really old. It's like 10 years old now. But like this song was one of the first songs that got me really into the K-R&B scene. So adding that, I'm also adding Give Love by Actong Musician. This song just makes you smile. Like the vocals, the lyrics, it's just super cute and super cheery. And like for me, the songs that make me happy are songs that make me want to move or make me want to dance. So I'm also adding All I Want to Do by Jay Park featuring Hoodie and Loco. I'm adding Energetic by 101. Cause that song, I will belt that song in the shower. I know like every note to this song. Like this is my Beyonce Second World Tour song. Like I'm in the shower belting this. Nobody can interrupt me. Phone calls, I'm not picking up. This is my song. So that's why I'm throwing in Energetic by 101. I'm throwing in Dance by Sam Kim, which is off his debut mini album. And like this song is super groovy, super funky. If you guys are into like pop and lock kind of style of like music for dance, then like definitely I'm recommending Dance by Sam Kim. I'm also recommending Watermelon by Lucy. Lucy's a newer band. They debuted last year, but the song Watermelon is so good. I don't know how to explain it. It's like you can hear their band elements, but you could also hear them being experimental and playing with electronic music. And so it's a really good song. I love Watermelon by Lucy. And unironically, I'm adding Wolf by EXO because I think I just have so many good memories with this song. Chogiwa.
It kind of just makes you happy because it brings back
when
like nostalgic
when you hear the flute
feels.
at the beginning and then you hear the growl, you can imagine like the hands on the floor scratching and like, yeah. So I'm recommending that. I'm also recommending Omaewa Mo by Deadman, which is this song has become very memed, but I think it's a really cute song and it just kind of gets me in the mood and like super giddy. And then for the last song I'm recommending, it's Breathe by Lehigh. So I guess this is like my only serious song on this list. But I really love Breathe by Lehigh, and it's something that I can listen to when I'm having a hard day, or even a song that I'm listening to when I'm having a really good day. Because I feel like Breathe is just a good reminder for me to take a moment, pause, and breathe. So yeah. Bella, what are your recommendations?
Mine I feel like are all over the place. I don't really have like a set genre really. It's kind of just songs that either make me feel good or make me want to sing or make me want to, I don't know, I guess like be dramatic. That makes sense. And so my version of happy might not be everyone's version of happy. They're probably like, why is she recommending such a sad song? But like the reason why I would recommend, you know, the songs that I have is because I think for me it's just the way that it makes me feel, and it doesn't really make me feel sad. It just makes me feel like I like to sing along, and it makes me feel more relaxed,
comforted.
And there's a few in there. Yeah, there's a few in there that's just like I would just put on because I want to like I don't know, I guess it's just like funny, and so you like if you want to be extra and kind of dance. But the first one is On the Ground by Rose. She just came out with her single, or her solo, not her single, it's her solo. Yeah. But it's only 2 songs, like WTF YG, 2 songs really. Okay, but whatever. Yeah, so that's one of them. I think that her songwriting or just like the lyrics, like I liked it. I know that it might be a little mainstream, kind of like a general pop song. Some people might not like it, but I like it. So
yeah, like what you like.
Next and then next would be Weapon by Against the Current. I also really like them. They just recently came out with this song. I don't remember when they last came out with a song, but it's been a while since they've come out with a song. But so they came out with Weapon, and I really like it, and I kind of just feel like it relates to kind of like what's been going on in 2020, all the craziness, and basically it's just talking about how if you're not careful, you can be used as a weapon, and I really like that about the song, and it's kind of like just one of those songs that you just bang your head to. Anyways, Next is I feel like I always recommend Kwon Jina. I feel like I always recommend her. I think I just love all her songs. But so I recommend she came out with a new album. I don't think it was EP, but yeah. It's You Already Have and Dreamer. I really love those two out of the album. And then I like Apollo 11. And I don't really know how to explain it. It's kind of just like a feel-good song, I guess, in a way. You just listen to it and then you just grow to it. But yeah, it's by Jamie and features Jay Park. So, well, how could you not like it? It's Jay Park. But anyways, next is Blind by You by...
Emme?
How do you say that?
She's Japanese.
Emme. I knew I was gonna get it wrong, but yes. So I don't really listen to a lot of Japanese songs, but I do find songs every now and then that I do like. So this is one of them. And then next would be, like I said, this is kind of like more of a silly one, but Okie Dokie by Zico, and Minho. I almost said Minho, but Minho.
I don't know. I thought he always said his name was Mino. I feel like he opens up his songs like that. I'm Mino. It's like when Zico's like Ziaco. It's like, no, your name is Zico. Stop.
It's Zico. Minho. I mean, I don't know. I guess you could say it Mino, but that's I don't know. I just feel like they just do it to emphasize their name, maybe. But yeah, so that's one of them. You honestly cannot. If you've watched True Beauty, you honestly cannot play that song without having that scene replay in your head. So it kind of just makes you feel better, you know. Anyways, next is Like We Used To by the Rose Sound. I really love them. I actually showed Titus them today, and Titus said that he liked that group, and he also likes Day 6. So I think I know what kind of music he kind of likes now. But next is Future by Red Velvet. That song just makes me hopeful. Out of all the songs that I'm recommending, Future Red Velvet is the OST, but like it kind of just makes me hopeful. It's a really hopeful song. But yeah. Next is Tell Me What to Do by Shiny. I also love Shiny, and they came out with a new album. I haven't listened to it. I just listened to it. Title track, I'm still trying to warm up to the title track because it's not
the B-sides
really
are where it's at,
right now,
girl.
but yeah, but I do love Shiny, and Tell Me What to Do is probably one of the songs I constantly played all the time. Next is their sister group, FX, their song All Mine. Really love singing that song. And I kind of just like jumping to it in my room. Jumping and dancing to it in my room. And then the last two songs I have is Crash and Burn by Maggie Lindemann. It might be confusing to people why they think this song makes me happy, but I think I just like to scream if you listen to the song. If you listen to the song, it's like screaming all my aggression out. That's pretty much
That's why I listen to Linkin Park these days.
Yeah, pretty much. That's pretty much what it is. And then the last song is more mellow and like self-meditating, and it's a sad but helps you, I guess in a way, relax kind of song. Is Breath by Park Hyuk-shin. I really like this song. It's probably my favorite song by him. I know that Park Hyuk-shin has a lot of other songs, but I don't know. I really like the song. It makes me cry all the time. Not that crying makes me happy, but
sometimes you need a good cry. Honestly,
yeah. Unless you need a good cry, then you can go watch Miracle in Cell Number 7, because then you will cry.
There's also a bunch of like
content.
sad Thai insurance commercials. So like, I got your back. You know which ones I'm talking about? Oh
gosh, I remember watching those. Yeah, those are so fun. Like those are so like it's so sad but they're so extra.
But like it makes you sad.
I don't know. But anyways, yeah, it does. It does make you sad. But yeah, so I really love that song, and I think that's it for my recommendations, though. But yeah, I guess that's all for today's episode. If you were watching and you got this far, or watching if you're listening and you got this far, thanks for listening to us, and we'll hope to hear. I guess we'll just wait till next time. I don't know when next time will be. we're gonna plan for next
we'll
week.
figure it out. We got this.
Yeah, we'll see how our
If you guys
mental
ever have
health
like
is.
any fun like topics you guys want us to talk about, or like groups you guys want us to have like deep dives in, like how we had a deep dive in Got Seven. If you guys want to deep dive for a certain group, like let us know. We'll definitely like try and do our best to get to that too.
Yeah, I feel like Ivy's definitely better at that kind of stuff.
We have a
yeah.
special thing that we're planning for April. That's going to be a deep dive, so watch out for that. And if you guys want to stay in the loop, follow us on our Instagram at Aillis_official. Bella posts there often. I post when I try to, so my posts are always awkward.
Yeah.
Bella feels like a real person would post, but I feel like every time I post, it's kind of like, this is an update. Hello, my name is Ivy. I am a robot. But like every time Bella posts, she posts like she's your friend. I post like I'm a company, so like I can't do this. But I mean, follow for Bella's
Well, yeah,
post.
I kind of just post. Oh my gosh, no, for both of us. But like, yeah, I kind of just post whatever. I post random things, so I'm sorry if it's a little random. And sometimes I'll like I won't post for a while, but when I do post, sometimes there'll be like a bunch of things all at once. So if I spam, I'm really sorry. But yeah, that's all. I think that's all for today's episode. So thanks for listening, guys.
Bye.
Adios. Bye.